Welcome back to A Game of Fangs and Thrones. My name's Hannah. This is a slightly delayed start to the weekly reading vlog. It's Tuesday. Monday I didn't vlog because I had a date. And it went very well. But that being said, we're back to normal-ish now. I do have my gloves on because my hands are cold. But I'm working from home, which is why we have a boring background. But the book I'm looks sticky there, the light's slightly better. But I'm about 3 or 4 chapters into House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, which is the sequel to House of Earth and Blood. Because I think the third one's Sky and Fire, I think. Or Flame and something. I can't remember. But I can't tell you too much about this one. The current read with it being a sequel, but it is 800 pages. And it's very adult. We do seem to be getting a couple of different POVs in this, but basically, House of Earth and Blood follows Bryce Quinlan, who is a half fae, half human in a modern-ish fantasy setting. I would say it's urban fantasy, but it's more on the fantasy side than the urban side. Magic is a lot more well known and prevalent. It just has a moderner feel and has some of our mod cons. But basically, she is called upon to help solve a murder because it's either something that's happened she's been involved with in the past, or it's because it's her best friend who was murdered. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but that's what I can remember from the first book. So, she's a defenseless female, so she gets some help. That help comes in the form of the Archangel, the fallen angel Hunt Althazar. And shenanigans ensue. And so the second book is obviously the fallout from that. And I think because we're getting more of a plot now, I think the more world-building elements, the bigger series arc is going to come into play. Saying that, I'm still operating on the assumption that this is a trilogy, but I'm probably not so sure. And I finally finished the audiobook. I finished Beneath the Keep by Erica Johansson. And I haven't ran that through Copilot, but I think it's probably going to end up being a 3-star. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy being back in that world and seeing how the events of the main trilogy were set up and how things came to be. But it just didn't have the same feel, and I'm not sure if that's because, it's been a while since I've been in the Tearling world. I personally didn't need a prequel. I was happy with the way things were, but I did enjoy it. I mean, there were a couple of things that felt a little bit unfinished. I'll do a full review in whatever episode of Read 9 comes next, which this current one should be on Wednesday. But so tomorrow as I'm filming this. But with it being Tuesday, working from home, and then it is a rehearsal day, but I do have to call up to the Metro Centre, which is like our shopping centre, and grab my bike jacket because the zip broke. And I kind of want the bright yellow jacket back, especially when it's getting darker. So I just gotta get through work, and then we can chill and read and sing. So, I like this light. But it's now Thursday. I got my nails done. I am calling this set either Bonfire or Pumpkin. You decide, but they're very pretty. In terms of reading, I am still working my way through House of Sky and Breath. I am this much in, which is 219 pages, which is just about to start chapter 20, and this has like 801. But I did finally get, I say finally, it hasn't been that long, but I did get round to running the Corpel review for Beneath the Keep. I'll go through in depth in the latest episode of Read 9 by 1, but it came out at a 5.8, which is a 3-star, which, to be honest, is what I was expecting. I did enjoy it. It just isn't a new favourite. So, plans for tonight are to do a bit of journaling, and then I do want to update the blanket for Beneath the Keep, and I think Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte has popped on a video, her weekly vlog, so I'm just going to watch that and probably crochet while I do that, and then just read for a little bit. We shall see if anything happens after that. So it's now Wednesday. I will admit 2 things. One, completely forgot that I had even started a vlog, and so I then kind of forgot to finish it. And I have just had some things happen in the last few days where I've just needed to take some time for myself and just, assess some things. I will talk to you guys about it at some point, but let's just say at the moment it's just something I'm dealing with personally, and I'm not at the point where I can tell everybody yet. So I will at some point give you everything. Just at the moment I'm still processing and healing. But I did finish House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. I have still got to run it through Corpel because I finished it yesterday, I'm going to say. But as you guys know, if you've been here a while, Tuesday is my rehearsal day for the Amateur Dramatic Society that I'm a part of. We are learning lots, and obviously there's lots of dancing involved, lots of singing, and I'm usually in bed, tired, ready to drop by the time I get home, especially last night, since that was a little bit later. And ignore the hair, but do tell me if you like it, because I am trying something different, just to see how I like it, to be honest. But back on track. House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. This is the sequel to House of Earth and Blood, which is the Crescent City. I'm going to say trilogy because I know the 3rd book is coming out soon. So obviously this is the middle book, so I can't talk too much about the specifics. But in this world, which is a magical version of our own, it's a modern, it feels very high fantasy, but in an urban fantasy setting. It's a modern city with magical elements. But in this city that is ruled by archangels, we follow Bryce Quinlan, who is half fae, half human, because all of Miss Maas's characters have fae in them some way, and it's working for her, so we're not going to judge. And in the first book, we meet her as she is tied to a murder, a cold case. That murderer gets off or gets released. I'm not too sure on the specifics of the first book, but Bryce gets involved because her best friend, Danica, who is a werewolf, or a wolf shifter, is found murdered, and all the clues, evidence point to it being the guy who supposedly did these first murders. So Bryce, being our main character, ends up having to investigate. But she's not alone. We have the incredibly dark and dangerous Hunt Alethar, who is a fallen angel, and he is assigned to protect her. So obviously, sparks fly between them two. I don't know if I would call it Grumpy Sunshine or arranged or forced in that sense, but it is definitely it's not really enemies to lovers, it's more I don't like you to grudging friends to lovers, I would say. But the second book is obviously the fallout and conclusion of, well, it's the fallout from the first book plus the more deeper plot, the more wider plot is coming into it. And that ending, guys, that last line, oh my god. And I know I'm going to have to be so vague about this, but if you've read House of Sky and Breath and you know what I'm talking about, it's not the epilogue, but it's the last line of the last chapter. Leave me a black heart. Just that just confirms a lot of people's thoughts, I think. But it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. And another series, yes, I'm being vague, but it's a major spoiler, so I can't be any more clear. But I did I tell you that I finished Beneath the Keep? Yes, I think I did. But that will be talked about in Read 9 by 1 if I haven't already. But I think I gave it like 3 stars. It was fine. I just didn't think particularly that series needed a prequel, but it was interesting enough and I did finally finish it. But current audiobook is The Norse Myths, read and written by Neil Gaiman. I feel like I should have something here. There we go. We'll just adjust so I'm in the middle. But then Norse Myths by Neil Gaiman. And Thor, in the original, he's still giving Dumb Jock vibes. But he is a redhead, so we'll give him that. Do like a bearded redhead. But anyway, so we are working our way through that. In terms of the book I'm going to read next, I have no idea. Like I said, this left me for a loop, so I'm processing that as well as processing the emotional things that I've just gone through recently, which is why this vlog is going to end up being a 2-week vlog, hopefully, unless I forget about it again. But we are looking at the 11th of October. I'm just about, well, let's have a look at where I am with A Little Piece of Magic. No, I am not doing NaNoWriMo because I don't have the time or discipline for that. Writing is what I do to relax, and you know, if something comes of it, something comes of it. But about to start chapter 19, and yes, I am still handwriting things. I haven't picked up my cross stitch in a while, only because my audiobook time has been mostly spent with this. And can I just say, I'm loving the colour scheme that this has turned out to be. Gone was the idea of every genre having a specific colour, because that would be a very one colour blanket. You can tell at the start, like towards the middle, that I did do that, but then it got very light in colour and it wasn't very exciting to look at or to do. But October, I have changed it from being a granny square, which is the 3 gap 3, to just being, we're starting on the border decorative elements because I can. It's October. There's only 3 months left of the year. October, November, December. Yeah. Where has the year gone? But I digress. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you now, but I think I'll probably pick up Where the Crawdads Sing just because it's right in front of me, and then I will look at doing the blanket a little bit later on tonight, because why not? So it is still Wednesday. I have updated the reading journal, and probably a surprise, but House of Sky and Breath got 3 stars, but that might not be all the book's fault because of external factors, but I don't think it was as strong as Earth and Blood either. So, but current book is a very pretty pink red cover, and it is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I'm about 56 pages in, and yes, I finished in the middle. Of a chapter, but I'm halfway through chapter 7. So I think it's a good time to stop and give you initial thoughts. So we have met Kaya or Kia. I'm gonna go Kaya. Kaya Clark. Yes, Kaya Clark, who lives in the marsh with her dad, and at the beginning of the book, her mother up sticks and leaves. She just walks on out of there, and then soon after, her older sisters leave and her brother Jody. Now the only sibling with a name is Jody, which makes me think he may be important later on, but this isn't a spoiler, but the murder has already happened at this point, because we get a split timeline. We get one from the 50s, when Kaya is young and learning to basically fend for herself. She's learning the ways of nature. She does go to school for like a day. The truancy officer finds her and drags her there. Well, not quite drags, but you know, Kaya toddles off to school like a good girl, gets ridiculed, and never goes back, pretty much. And then we also have the 1960s timeline, which seems to be running parallel. We have a chapter in the past, a chapter in the 60s, and in that first or second set in 69 chapter, I think it's the first, we find Chase dead. Two boys find him lying there. And can you hear that helicopter? Because I can. So we have the mystery element of who killed Chase, why did Chase die, who is Chase, because at the moment all we know is that he's a bit of a ladies' man, a bit of a player, and he has been found dead in suspicious-ish circumstances. So we have that going on, but we also have, in the earlier timeline, Kaya's timeline, we have the story of a young girl trying to come to grips with her mother leaving, her siblings leaving, and her dad is not a very nice person. He's abusive. Nothing has happened on page, but there are quite clear references to times where he has hit Jody, the brother, or the mum. And Kaya herself is very wary of her dad. She's very unsure of herself around him. And he pretty much ignores her for the best part of 6 chapters. Where I've left off, they are just now doing some father-daughter bonding, which makes me think that something awful is going to happen, because it just seems that way. But I think, I'm not going to tell you if I'm right or not, and you can, if you've read this, you can let me know discreetly, vaguely, when I finished it. Well, I was going to say when I finished if I was right, but I'd know anyway. But I have a feeling that because Kaya is different, she's a literal outsider to the town, and she's wild, doesn't really have the same knowledge as the others. I think she's going to get blamed for Chase's death. But we shall see when we get there. But it's very melancholy, I think. There's something very melancholy about this. I don't know if it's the writing style or the story, but it is very sad. There is beauty in the marsh, and I think Kaya is starting to understand that, but her life has been really hard so far, so she's understandably a little bit hard, wild, standoffish maybe. So we shall see where her development goes. And because Maths is my new favourite reality TV show, I'm catching up. And when I'm watching that, I will work on the blanket, and if I get the row of the blanket done, I'll probably just switch to the book. If I finish catching up with Maths before I finish the blanket, we'll stick the audiobook on. That sounds like a plan. Saturday, I finished Where the Crawdads Sing. I do have to run it through CoPile, but I enjoyed it. Took a while for me to get into it, but I think that's just because you need to understand Kaya before you can understand what's going on and why. So I did enjoy that aspect, and the ending broke me. But for the sake of spoilers, I'm not going to tell you if my suspicions were right, but if you know, you know. So that's 2 books in about 2 weeks. Let's check. Yeah, 2 weeks and 2 books in 2 weeks. One of those books was The House of Sky and Breath, which was 800 pages. But this was a nice short book, coming in at 368, with such a touching storyline of how prejudices and court systems and things like that tie into the justice system, especially in 1960s America. I don't know enough about that to comment, but it was a very well written story. Like I say, I still have to run it through CoPile, but what I will be doing tonight is obviously run it through CoPile, update the blanket, and I don't know if I'm in the mood to listen to an audiobook while I do the blanket, or if I just want to put something on TV. I'll probably just watch something on iPlayer because I can, but I guess I'm going to do that. And I do want to do a journal because of, I mentioned this earlier in the week, but I'm dealing with some trauma. I don't want to say trauma, but I'm healing from things. So that's tonight's plan. Review, crochet, journal. And because I think I'm in the need of something quick, maybe a bit more light-hearted, I think I'm probably going to go for The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window. The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson, and I will give you a brief synopsis, first thought, when I actually picked that up. So it's Sunday, it's about 1 o'clock, give or take. I did finish, well, I told you I finished Where the Crawdads Sing, and I think I came out at like a 4-star on CoPile, which I was agreeing with, and I was pleasantly surprised by that rating. I did manage to do the update for the blanket though. It took a bit longer than I thought. But we have current book, which is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson. I think everybody knows about this one now. It was made into a movie, I think. And it did the rounds on BookTube a while ago. Basically, sitting quietly in his room in an old people's home, Alan Carlson is waiting for a party he doesn't want to begin. His 100th birthday party, to be precise. The mayor will be there, the press will be there, but as it turns out, Alan will not. Escaping in his slippers through his bedroom window into the flower bed, Alan makes his getaway. And so his picaresque and unlikely journey involving criminals, several murders, a suitcase full of cash, and incompetent police. As his escapades unfold, Alan's earlier life is revealed, a life in which, remarkably, he played a key role between the scenes in some of the momentous events of the 20th century. Jonas Jonasson is a Dutch, I think, author that I have read from before, Dutch or Swedish, and this was translated by Rod Bradbury, and I am only on chapter 5, page 42, and I am enjoying it. I keep wanting to call him Carl, but it's not, it's Alan. Alan, for being 100 years old, is remarkably still in control. He still has his wits about him. He has enough agency to get out, to run and jump out of his bedroom window and go to the bus stop to get a big bus. And along the way, he's already nicked this poor guy's suitcase, which I think is a suitcase made full of cash, but I'm not sure. And that's just a funny plot device on its own. But we know that he was born in Sweden. His dad got involved with the communists in Russia, actually going over there and then being shot. And it's just so far it just seems to be a bit of a series of unlikely events that are coming together and being quite funny. So it is that today is my sister's birthday, so I'll probably I don't know what we're doing later for that, but until then, I'm just going to chill and read. I don't know if this is a 5-star, but it is quite light-hearted. So I'm just going to, like I say, read for a bit, chill. I don't know what else I'm going to do, so we shall figure it out. Hey guys, I'm just popping in to end this vlog. I have no idea how long it's going to be or what it actually is, but it's what happens when you start filming a vlog and then forget you're filming a vlog and then pick up and then forget to start a new one and just add everything together. So that's what this one was. But I did finish 2 books in this vlog, so I'm very happy with that, considering one of them was House of Sky and Breath, which was 800 pages. And I will stop going on about that because we've reached the end of the vlog. I'm carrying The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson into next week, because I'm only this way through, and it is so far-fetched, it's hilarious. But it is going, I think it is going to have some slower, more heartfelt moments where we learn a bit more about Alan, but we shall discover that together in next week's vlog. So, as usual, at the end of the video, give this video a like if you like it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see this, talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!